Welcome back everybody, Kaido here. Today I'll be bringing you the newly released One Piece figure by Figuarts, which is Monkey D. Luffy Gear 5, which just so happens to be my most anticipated figure of this year by far. When it comes to the box design, Gear 5 is very similar to all of the other ones of the same line, which is a positive point. The only main difference being the color of accent they chose, which is in this case is this purple color, which matches very well with the overall white color that comes from Luffy in his Gear 5 form. With that being said, as always, you have a beautiful picture of the figure right here on the right hand side. You can see the name of the character Monkey D. Luffy, in this case his gear transformation, which is Gear 5. You can see the window over here with all the different accessories, which is getting me really hyped because he seems like he has a lot of them, a lot of different faces, a lot of different hands, new arm accessories, new leg accessories. Like, I really can't wait to get this figure open. This, just by the looks alone, is very similar to the Naruto Kurama Link Mode that I reviewed not long ago. It seems like a Bandai premium exclusive figure by just the amount of accessories that it comes with. But we can continue. On this side right here, just like always, you can see the name of the figure with the little transformation that comes right here at the bottom. On the back side, you can see the different faces they come with. The new Luffy DLC face, a lot of Japanese that I have no idea what it says since I don't know how to speak it. And this figure, all of my figures, by the way, I pre-ordered from Amy, some are from Mandarake, so this was pre-ordered from Amy as well. On the side right here, which to me is the best side of the box, which show all the different faces, different skills, different action poses that he can be in, with the name right here, bold, Monkey D. Luffy. For those of you that enjoy collecting the boxes or displaying the boxes, this is the area of the video that I compare them to other ones of the same line. So this is how Gear 5 looks in comparison to Zoro's box. I think it's fitting since he's the second command of the Straw Hat Pirates. And as I mentioned previously, the colors on the background for each specific character just makes it pop so much more. If you put it on a shelf like so, for those of you that don't enjoy opening the figures out of the box, they will look great. You can clearly see the figure inside of the windows for both of them. As once again, the colors, the figure picture on the right hand side just pops. You know what you're looking at. And the name right here at the bottom just accent the overall box so much. And as I mentioned previously, you can put it side by side like so, but it's not my favorite side to display the boxes from. Is this one for sure. It just makes it look so much better. Like the colors on the background, the different figures and poses, the different faces that come with, it's really good. Like if you put this side by side on like a bookshelf or something, you can clearly see which line of figure this is from and the specific figure that each box belongs to. So I always recommend posing it on this side if you like just displaying the boxes. As you can see, they're both about the same size, width-wise, length-wise, and everything. So this is a positive point. And overall, man, I highly recommend it. And I wish they could keep this box design throughout all of the One Piece lines, but I don't think that's gonna be the case because I know in the future, not that long ago, maybe September, October, they're releasing the pre-time skip versions of Luffy and Nami. I have those on pre-order, so I'll definitely get them and review it to you. But I feel like they're not going to keep the same design because I feel like this design right here of choice was mostly for the Onigashima section arc of the anime. And we'll see if the pre-time skip also follows the same like structure. So this is how Gear 5 Luffy looks straight out of the box, everybody. And as you all know, I like to keep my reviews as honest as possible because I know these figures are expensive and I want you to know truly what my first impressions were as soon as I took the figure out of the box and play with it. Let's see what Figuarts and Bandai did to bring Luffy from the anime into real life in figure form. So bringing the figure up close, I do gotta say right off of the bat, this looks like exactly what I expect Luffy Gear 5 to look like. Look at the facial expressions of this figure, the hair choice that they went with, the swirls that look like clouds, the eyebrows, which has a little feeling to it, is not like drawn into the face. Everything on this figure, at least design wise, seem to have been pretty thought out. The scar is perfectly well in there, is not bleeding or anything like that. They went with a soft plastic for the jacket. It seems like the same body as the initial Luffy with changes in the arms and changes with the inclusion of this air that he has around him whenever he goes into high air gears, in mostly Gear 4 and Gear 5. The hat right here is hanging and I really like that. Look at the design on the hat. He even has the claw marks at the top of the hat, which is really good with the stitch marks that Nami made to fix the hat for him. Overall, man, I'm really surprised with how they did it. In a good way, I must say. The sandals, the famous sandals look really nice. And it seems like differently from the normal Luffy, the sandals don't split with the foot is basically a soft plastic like so. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Yeah, but it's just like a soft plastic that goes back into place. And also here's like I would say his belt piece or his cloth piece. It becomes purple as he goes into gear 5, which is a positive. And man, I can just see the happiness out of him. Like, can you guys see it? It's just, the figure looks so happy, even if in a neutral pose like this. Like, the face just makes it up for it. Like, if I cover the face, it's just like a regular Luffy, like the regular initial Luffy with the red jacket and everything. But as soon as the face is included, it's just so much expression comes out of it that I feel like they nailed it 100%. There's no side that I put this figure on, from the back, from the side like so, or from the front, that it doesn't look like gear 5 and it doesn't display the happiness and then the fun and joy that comes out of Luffy whenever he goes into this form right here. So design choices aside, I'm gonna bring Zoro just as a comparison for height and everything like that. And as you all can see, Zoro is much taller than Luffy, as he should be, because Luffy is pretty short in comparison to Zoro. And for those of you that are sticklers on size and getting everybody to the correct sizes, this is how it looks, and I feel like it looks great. I'll let you guys take your opinions on there, and that's why I normally like to bring Zoro, just so you guys have a normal scale to compare all of the characters to. As always, when it comes to the articulation section of the One Piece line of figures, this is where my fear comes into life, because most of the times they do be trying a lot of different things with the One Piece line. It's like the One Piece line is like the guinea pig of trying different tactics or different figure styles. And from the looks of Luffy, they tried very hard to do something different, but I'm not sure if it really worked or not. So jumping into the articulation. So this air piece right here, it moves up and down on a hinge right here. It's somewhat not that heavy, but at the same time, this hinge right here is not as tight as I would like it to be. It feels like it's too easy to go up and down, and then maybe if you do it too many times, it would just start sagging over and over again. So just be careful with it when you do it for yourself. And it's only attached here by the pegs that go straight into the chest. So I'm just going to remove it to make the articulation easier. So I'm just going to remove this. And then the hat is just being held back basically by the neck, which I'm going to take it off just to make it easier for me to show you guys everything that the figure has to offer when it comes to the articulation. So when it comes to the head movement, well, the head just popped out. He can do a 360 no problem. He can look to the left like so. So full range of motion on a head. You can make him look all the way down like this much. You can make him look up this much, side by side like so. It's funny because seeing Luffy like this, just on a side note, it makes it seem like he's happy that I'm like playing around with him like this. But it's whatever. I just wanted to point that out. The neck moves as well in there. It has full range of motion on the head, which is always a positive. When it comes to the arms, it goes up about this much on both sides. It goes about this far forward, using the little butterfly joint that it has over here to its full range. He can go about this far forward like here. So he doesn't have as much range as, for example, Law when it comes to crossing his arms, but it's good enough of a range since he doesn't like hold a sword or anything like that. But like I said, I expected more from Luffy. That has this little under part right here is a big gap, but I think that they did it like this because these arms are removable to add the accessories, the accessory arm, which is the lengthened arm for Luffy. This part right here, as I mentioned previously, it's soft, so it won't hinder any of his movements. But the only issue is when you remove this right here, why would you? But anyway, since it gives you the opportunity to move, why is it so big? Like, why is this part so big? I feel like they should just give you a little piece that you could plug in here just to hide this little holes. But I don't think they will ever do that. So when it comes to the chest, this bottom part right here seems to be a little bit of a rubber, so it won't hinder the movement. And as you can see, he moves side by side without a problem. He moves forward about this much. He moves backwards about this much. So full range when it comes to Luffy's top part section of his body. And I only mean chest and head because this is a little of the issue with the arm that I said that they have been trying new things. As you guys can see, there is no like elbow joint. Like there's nothing here. You can swerve the arms like this, swirl the arms, no problem. This little section right here doesn't move. The hand does hand things up and down on the joints, so no problem. But he can't curl his arms. Well, at least not entirely, because what they went with over here is that this part right here is kind of like a rubber piece, kind of, and you're able to like do this. So you can like move the arm as if there is a joint underneath here. Because like I think with this Luffy, they went with like the rubber idea. So that's what I mentioned, like they're trying different things with the One Piece line, which doesn't really look or feel that good. And I don't really know why they went with this, because I'm putting a lot of force to do this movement right here. And this seems like as far as Luffy is able to move this. Maybe if I blow dry it will be easier to like move up and down. But I feel like my fear is with a blow dryer, if I blow dry it enough to get like 90-degree range, it won't go back. Like this is like there's nothing on a manual that says how to do this properly or how to break the arm like so to create the movement. And this is what it scares me, because this movement here alone isn't enough for like any crazy range. Like, God, I'm putting a lot of strength on it. And then this is, like I said, this is as far as he goes using this arm right here. And this is a total letdown for me. And it's like this on both arms as well. I'm just going to do this on this arm. And as I mentioned, this is really hard, guys. And as you can see, this is just as far as he can go. And I'm going to put the arm like this. So you see this bench right here. This is as far as he goes. And that's why I'm like, this is such a letdown. I can see what they did with it. And then maybe, as I mentioned, I don't know if I blow dry it, if it would be easier, but I'm just too scared. And I feel like that's the issue. Being scared to do something on a figure because you don't know if it's going to work or if it's going to break the figure, it's never a good thing. Like ever. Why didn't they just put a joint here? It wouldn't have done anything different to the overall design of the figure, sorry, if they did that or not. And that's so sad to me. Because like, I'm just trying to stand him up right now normally. So, because why would you not put a joint here if you put a joint here? If the whole purpose was the figure to be like rubberish, wouldn't it be better if you just put a rubber top and a rubber bottom right here instead of this little joint that they have here? Look, trust me, I didn't want them to do that. I do prefer the joint 10,000 times more because I don't have to do this little gimmicky here on the arm that I'm afraid to break the figure. But like, if you're gonna do something, then do it throughout, no? Because to me, it looks like this is amazing, top from waist up, amazing, but the arms, they lack movement. You can guys let me know in the comments if you can blow dry it or if there's an easier way for me to move the arm, but I'm too afraid to do this to my figure and break it. So moving on to the legs. This is another thing that I do not understand why they did it. Oh, this is a movable piece right here, so you don't have to worry about that. Oh, they just fell off, but you can just plug it back in. The legs. This is, from what I can see, this is criminal. The crotch has no cut for the leg to move. So this, let's see how high the leg can go. Guys, like that's what I'm saying. Sometimes Figuarts be trolling. What the heck is this? What is this? You mean to tell me this is as far Luffy can kick? This is I'm sorry, but this is bullshit. This is as far as the leg goes backwards. Let me move the arm. And this is as far as the legs goes forwards. Oh, and look, this part comes out. So you're supposed to slide this part in and kick up. This is as far as he can kick up. Not even a kick. This is like a stride at most. And then maybe there's a way to finagle it, but as you can see, the joint it's right here underneath this like rubber piece and the leg. And then this, as far as the kick goes, how is this possible? Like, it's just so bad to the point that I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if this is how the figure is. Like, I really don't know if it's my fault or if it's the figure's fault. And then to put the leg to the side, this is as far as it goes. And by the way, it's ugly because this doesn't even look like a normal movement. You can see the joint right there. So, like, why they did it like that? Like, I really don't understand. Like, the thing that kills me is, like, how is the spread of a figure better than the front kick? Like, I feel like companies figured out the best way to do, like, the joint on the crotch to allow for a high kick. Why would you change that now? Like, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Just do the same thing. This is the same company for the Dragon Ball figures. Have you seen how the Dragon Ball figures kick? How do you allow this from the One Piece line? I'm sorry that this gets me tilted because, as I mentioned, this is my most hyped figure. And this figure right here, arm and legs, is damn near as annoying as Zoro's. And it's very upsetting to me because, like, why don't you just copy it? Like, if you look at Law had perfect articulation throughout. The only thing that hindered the figure was the damn cape. Here, this figure looks good, feels good, everything is tight, but they fuck up the articulation by trying to make the figure look really good. So yes, the figure looks really good. It really does on basic poses. But once again, this is not a statue, this is an action figure. Why would you give up articulation for looks? As I mentioned previously, if you put a little joint here and a joint here, it won't make the figure look worse. It will just give you the best of both worlds. It's like, I don't know. It just tilts me out of my mind. And like, okay, I will talk about this right afterwards, but this is how the leg looks. The ankle rocker is really good, going both ways. The foot goes forward this much, the foot goes back this much. And as I mentioned, this is like a rubber piece. And he has no toe hinge whatsoever. And this is how the leg looks, guys. So as you guys can see, there is no joint whatsoever here because it's the same gimmick as the arms. And one thing is, I don't know if you remember the Luffy figure, they fixed this, now it caves in so it doesn't hinder the articulation. But my point is, what articulation? Because there's no articulation to be hindered here, because what happens is it's able to do this. Okay. So now moving this forward, look at this articulation, bro. Oh my god. Like, this actually tilts me. I don't really know what to say. It's just so poorly designed. Like I said, maybe I will mention it once again. Maybe I'm just scared of going the extra mile to squeeze it, but I don't know. This range looks horrible from the leg. I mean, this looks okay, I guess. Like, if the leg moved up, this range would be okay. See, but that's okay. This is another thing. If the arm had good range, no problem. No problem. This would be okay even if it was the rubber, but it doesn't have range. And the same thing here. This part has great range. I feel like this is enough range for this little gimmicky that they're going, but the leg doesn't help. It really doesn't. So it kind of like nullifies this bottom part right here. And then my other question is, if I keep doing this, putting side by side, putting to the back, will it ever like do the thing that like rubber does, which starts like breaking off? I don't know how the articulation is on the inside or even how they do this. So this is what my fear is. Will it start breaking off the more I pose the figure? I don't really know. But this is basically all the articulation I can think of about this figure. I'm really let down on the arms and on the legs, specifically this movement right here. Like, this is as far as he can split, and which is pretty okay. Like, this is fine, but my issue mostly is just moving the legs forward. Like, this is as far as it goes. This is horrible. Like, and there's no way for me to extra force this forward. Like, this is how it looks, and then this is as far forward as it goes. If I put this backwards, so this is as far forward as the leg goes in a neutral position. It doesn't go any far forward. Like, if I put more strength to it, I feel like I'll break the hinge inside, so I'll rather not. And like, yeah, I don't know why they did it like that. You guys can take your own conclusions, but this is basically how I feel. I haven't seen any other reviews, so this might be a problem with my figure only, but you guys can let me know if this is something that happens to everybody else. Yeah, so when it comes to the articulation, if I had to put like a little grade on it, it's 5 out of 10. The chest, the head, the hands, perfect articulation. I'll even give it to this rubber part on the bottom. This is a good idea. This is a good articulation for Luffy and what the figure is. But overall, this hinders the whole articulation, which is like, no. I don't know. This is like a 5 out of 10, and I expected so much more, even more of such a big release as Gear 5 Luffy. So to me, like, they fucked up the Luffy main release and they fucked up his Gear 5 release, which is probably the thing that everybody was hyped about. But all of the figures look great in neutral positions. So let's see if the accessories make up for the lack of articulation that the figure have. Starting off, they have a stand, which is a great addition, but mostly they probably did it because they knew people would rage quit if they had to stand the figure on its own. But let's put it into the bright side. Maybe they wanted you to be able to put the figure into the jumping pose that Luffy does whenever he goes into the Gear 5 for the first time, and there's the moon in the background. So let's just hope that that's the reason why they put this in here. Second of all, Luffy has 6 different faces, 1 being the extra DLC face, 5 being of its own into Gear 5. So you have the neutral one that comes in out of the box, which is his super smiley face, which, like I said, the figure may be bad when it comes to the articulation, but the accessories and the details are great. So this face looks awesome. They also has this grinning face right here, which also looks pretty cool. There's this angry looking face right here. There's also this angry cartoonish face. Dude, I really want to like this figure so bad, guys. You have no idea. But the articulation kind of bummed me out, because whenever you see stuff like this is so awesome. Like, the looks on the figure are so good. It seems like Figuarts is going more into the Figma route, that they want the figure to look good regardless if the articulation lacks or not. And finally, you have probably the best looking face, which is the Tomb Force cartoon face with the eyes bugging out and the tongue bugging out, which looks really, really, really good. I really like the addition of this face right here. So those are the 5 Gear 5 Luffy faces, and this is the DLC face for the previous Luffy right here. So this is all for the faces, and then once again, up close, the air that comes around him. This is how it looks like up close. This is what he plugs in into the chest, and this is the hinge right here. This is the hat up close. This doesn't move whatsoever. It's just to put it on his back and just leave it there. It looks amazing. The detail looks amazing on there as well. And this is part of the belt section, which also looks pretty good. He only has 4 hands though. He has this hand right here, which is to hold the lightning piece. He has this open palm hand right here, stylish pose hand. He has this fist hand like here. And he has the hand that came out of the box, which is this most relaxed hand that he uses to put on his belly when he's about to laugh. But now, the main addition was this right here, which is the elongated Luffy's arm. And I think the rubber but he feels so much better on this because he has a lot more length on the give. So basically, it's very easy for you to pose it. If the arm, the original arm, this arm right here, had this much articulation, I don't think anyone would care about that, because this feels really nice. And even on this part right here, look at this, 90 degree. This doesn't have as much give as this to do this. This doesn't have as much, I don't know, length to be able to do this. How much touches this? I can literally almost plug this into here. This range is amazing if he was on the normal arm, because I don't plan on putting the long arm on him on every pose. Like, this is not what I plan to do. And here, like I said, I'm going to try to do that with all of my strength. This is as far as it goes. Like I said, without the blow dryer. Once again, you guys can let me know if you have this figure, if you've seen a video with this figure right here, if you can use a blow dryer or maybe like hot water to get him to bend a little more. So you guys can let me know if that's the case or not. So this is the included arm, and this is how you put it onto the figure. I already put it on here, so this is how it looks. It's basically the same size as the figure, if not a little bit more. If you put the arm in here, he won't be able to stand. He can easily hold it up, hold it to the side, hold it up like so. Nothing happens. It's not that heavy, I would say. It's heavy, but not that heavy. And the way you remove it is basically using this arm. You just pull on this. This is how the joint looks on the inside. And then all you do is plug this into here. It's a little bit hard at first, but you can easily do it. Let me see if I can do this on the video. It's a little bit hard to do it like so. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to do it, because for this arm right here, I had to put a little bit of hot water just for it to be able to plug this arm into here. So this is probably what I have to do for this one, but that's basically all you do. You just plug it in here and then it will work perfectly fine. Like the original arm is a little bit easier to put in there because it's already the perfect size for the pack. So this is all of the all of the accessories and how it looks on the figure. So now I'm going to move on to my final thoughts to let you know how I feel about it. Oh, before I forget, the most important piece, the lightning. I almost forgot. So this is how it looks. It basically looks like a Shidori. I think it's a pretty good addition. And it splits like so. And then here you have the hand. And I think you plug it in like this. Let me see. So you just put that in there. And then you... Is it like this? Sorry, I'm trying to figure it out with you guys on how to do this right here. So, there we go. So you can make the hand where he's holding onto the light and about to throw it at Kaido. Like I said, I feel like this is going to look really good, even more so with the stand, and you want to do the jumping pose while he's throwing at Kaido if you have the Kaido. So, like I said, moving on to my final thoughts, I'm going to put him into a quick pose using a stand, see if I can put him into a nice, maybe the lightning pose that I mentioned. Let me see if I can put it into that lightning pose. Okay, everybody, so this is how Gear 5 looks when he's about to throw the lightning at Kaido, and then as you can see, he looks pretty good. Regardless of how bad the articulation is, when he's on a standing pose or he's on an action pose, if you're able to put him into one that looks good enough, the design choices that they went with will carry the figure as it is right now. From a distance, you don't even see how bad the articulation is. As a matter of fact, you can even see the articulation. So I guess that's what the point that they went with. Regardless, everything I said does come into consideration, because when it comes to other type of positions, like anything that requires a lot of movements from the legs or from the arms, he's unable to do so. But then again, maybe Luffy doesn't need to, and whenever he does need that much articulation, that's where the long arms come in, because whenever Luffy is doing anything crazy with the arms, it's whenever he is using his rubber fruit. So maybe that's the reason why they kept the arm like so. With that being said though, that's basically how it looks over here. Let me turn it up so you guys can see it. You see the bend on his arms. He doesn't bend all the way, but he bends enough for that position to be held true. So this, and then as I mentioned previously, the legs, the rubber on the legs is pretty good. All of this twirls and then this positioning, it works so well with the figure, and I really do appreciate that they even tried different things. Like the leg was able to do it perfectly, the arms not so much. Yes, I'm upset about it, but they're trying new things, and it's not like the things they're trying is just completely bad. I understand why they're doing it. I just don't like it because I do prefer joints still. Like if you do want to put in this rubber pieces, put them as extra piece. Put them like this. This is an extra piece right here, and then put this arm right here. If you want an arm without the articulation, but it's a small arm, put the same arm, but put as an accessory. Leave an arm with a joint and give two different arms if you want to keep to do, like if you want to do this rubber movement right here. I just don't like it when my only two options are like this, and then this arm doesn't have a joint, and both of them are like this. I personally don't enjoy that. Some people will, some people won't mind. But as I mentioned, as soon as you put them into a position like this, all of those problems go away. But all of my caution is kind of like in and out, because as I mentioned, what happens in a long time. So if I leave this figure like this in my shelf for like, I don't know, a year or so, this leg, will it crack? I'm not sure. Like, that's why I don't think I will even put him into a position like this in my shelf. Whenever he's in my shelf, he's probably going to be into like a neutral position with the legs straight and everything like that, because I am afraid of what will happen to these legs and even to the arm if he's kept in that position for a really long time. Regardless, out of all of the figures that were released for One Piece, if you are a true fan of One Piece, you have to buy this one. This is Gear 5 Luffy. You need to have it. I don't know whenever a new Gear 5 figure will ever be released. I doubt Figma was going to release one of these. I doubt Revoltech is going to release any major company. I doubt you will get a Luffy Gear 5. You'll most likely get all of the other Luffys, but I don't know whenever we will get a Gear 5 again. The same thing with Kurama Link Mode. You either have the Figuarts one or you don't have any, because I don't know whenever another company is going to bring that figure to life, just like Gear 5. Other than that, Kaiser signing out. I hope you guys liked the video. Have a good one. Peace out. Take care, everybody.